biggest organization in the world in mixed martial arts, UFC, and definitely being like part of the kind of like history, right? First pay-per-view in Asia, in Singapore, it's something big. The same when I fought in Jacksonville, when after this like shut down like globally, it was the first event, and it was super energetic, and it felt this energy in when I stepped into the octagon. All fans, all public, it's I feel that, and I hope it's gonna be the same this Sunday here in Singapore.
And we had Taila in here earlier, and she said you're as close to the perfect fighter as it gets, but you're not perfect. And her and her team have found flaws in your game through this training camp. What do you think she might be talking about in terms of your flaws? And do you think maybe she's just telling herself that because she has to tell herself something to win the fight?
I think it's kind of like hypnotizing herself, trying to convince there is something that should be, like everyone is not perfect. Definitely not everyone is perfect, but it's kind of like, you know, all my opponents, they were saying the same over and over. It's like no one is unbeatable. She has some like hole in her games, but once they step inside the octagon, they feel the opposite side. They feel the difference between the fighters, and this is the most important. She tried to hypnotize herself to convince that there should be, but she's wrong. It's not gonna work for her.
And people might ask, you're at the point in your title reign where they're looking everywhere for challenges for you and stuff. What is the daily motivation like now compared to what it was earlier in your reign? Have you had to change things to motivate yourself, or are these fights, no matter who it's against, do you still get up for each one of them the same?
Actually, being martial artist, this is my biggest motivation. My family, my teammates, my team, it says everything. I don't need to find like extra motivation, go like be hunger or something like that. I'm in martial arts for so many years. I started when I was 5, 29 years fighting, competing, and doing like training daily, and it's kind of like it's teach me that I don't have to have something extra to motivate myself, because being martial arts and compete here, it's motivation by itself.
Is it possible, though, part of the reason why you're talking about maybe going to another division, a second belt, is this one of the new things that you can find for yourself, though?
I think it's mostly because like people want that, and it was like discussions through the years. Our trilogy with Amanda, now people speaking about like Juliana, and no matter what outcome gonna be in their fight in July, either works for me, because it's kind of like will be interesting fight against Amanda, and like we have history with Juliana because like few years ago I submitted her, and so it's gonna be either like option is gonna work for me.
I don't know if this is a stupid question or not, because I've just seen people talk about it. There's no way you can move down in weight, right? This is the lowest you can fight at?
To move down, it means struggling and like and being hard weight cut. I have to think about it.
I'm curious, speaking of down a weight class, the UFC released that video of you and Yolana having kind of a moment in the hallway. I know you guys have the same management and stuff now. Just going back to when you fought her, to the relationship you guys have now, what do you just have to say about that?
I know Joanna through the years. We shared our history in Muay Thai. We fought like about 3 times in Muay Thai in 3 different world championships. Then in UFC. So it's kind of like it's mutual respect. In no matter what we fought and how it was everything, I respect her as a fighter, hard worker, and everything what she's doing. And it's great to like fight in the same card, but now in this time not like as opponents, but it's just a good feeling. It's good feeling like. When you see a good fighter and you respect this fighter, it's kind of like, it's great to have these kind of fighters on a fight card UFC 275 in Singapore.
do you hope to see her win against Wally? And I know Wally has said some things about you in the past, so do you hope Joanna beats her?
I think their first fight, Joanna won. And it's gonna be different fight, like not 5 rounds, 3 rounds. And I think, yeah, I think Joanna has everything to prove that the first time it was in in her decision. Yeah.
Speaking of Talia, before she got to the UFC, she had a lot of knockout victories on the regional circuit, but it hasn't really translated to the UFC. She's only had one stoppage win, and that was her last one. Why do you think her power maybe hasn't translated to the UFC octagon? Is it just level of competition? Do you think she's not been comfortable inside the UFC? Like, where do you think her power hasn't translated?
Oh, definitely, it's a level of competition because we are, as I mentioned before, we are speaking of the best league in the world of mixed martial arts. Here, you cannot find like easy opponents, easy matchups, and there is no just weak fighters. There are best here, best of the best in the world.
And then you had mentioned there's a lot of other title challengers coming up through the division, your division, and then we have a lot of young fighters, like Erin Blankfield said she wants to beat you specifically. So it seems like these young fighters that being the one to beat you has become almost as important as winning the title. They want to be the ones to end your reign. So what do you make of all of these young fighters using you as the benchmark as opposed to the title?
It's amazing feeling, and I really appreciate that. And especially if I can motivate someone, for me it's a huge achievement already. And I continue my martial arts. I continue be myself, the way I live the life. And if that thing can inspire someone, it's kind of the best feeling in the world.
How do you see the